Welcome back. We are getting right into the top 15 the top 15 facts about Elf. We are getting into the Christmas theme, Christmas mood, because it's Christmas time. Christmas is here, and let's get into it. So number 1 about Elf is Jim Carrey was initially eyed to play Buddy the Elf in Elf. When David Birnbaum's script first emerged in 1993, Carrey was pre-Ace Ventura pet detective and attached to front the Christmas film. However, it took another 10 years to get the project in motion, at which the time Saturday Night Live star Will Ferrell was signed to co-star. Carrey would go on to headline his own Christmas offerings, the live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas and the CGI animated A Christmas Carol. Number 2, years before SNL or Elf, Will Ferrell worked as a mall Santa. Oh, that's interesting. And his A-Night at the Roxbury co-star Chris Kattan was his elf. This was back when the pair were pre-Saturday Night Live and the part of Groundling's comedy troupe. Ferrell recollected to Spliced Wire, "I have some experience playing Santa Claus. Chris Kattan was my elf at this outdoor mall in Pasadena for 5 weeks. Passing out candy canes, it was hilarious because little kids could care less about the elf. They just come right to Santa, so by the second weekend, Canton had dropped off the whole affection he was doing and was like, Santa's over there, kid." Number 3, director Jon Favreau favored practical effects on the set of Elf. Inspired by the Christmas specials he grew up with, Favreau explained in the film's commentary track that he employed old techniques instead of CGI whenever possible. This includes stop-motion animation and using forced perspective to make Buddy look like a giant among his elf peers. For North Pole scenes, 2 sets were built, one larger scale for the actors playing elves, the other smaller to make Buddy and Santa look big. These elements were then carefully overlaid in camera using lighting to blend the scenes. Wow. Interesting. That's, well, of course, so instead of CGI, this included stop-motion animation. Interesting. I've been curious how that editing stuff works, because it's not easy to edit stuff like that. Number, especially people who are normally sized, sorry if that's, I hope that's not an offensive word, but people who are sized, like taller or shorter, whatever, they might, I was always curious of how they shrunk them or how that worked, of editing. Anyways, number 4, much of the snow you see in Elf was often computer generated. Some effects just couldn't be practical. These included the snowflakes that drift over the opening credits and many of the snowballs in Buddy's pivotal fight scene. It's probably not much of a shocker that much of these were added in post, considering Buddy's perfect aim. But to further underscore the drama that is a snowball fight in frosty New York, Favreau asked composer John Debney to give this section a Western vibe that would recall the Magnificent Seven. Number 5, Elf's production design was heavily influenced by Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The classic stop-motion Christmas special from 1964 gave a memorable presentation of Santa's Winter Wonderland to which Favreau wanted to pay tribute. The elves' costumes in Elf were inspired by those worn by Hermie and his peers in the animated film, and the Elf's Workshop were modeled after the Rankin Bass designs, as were the stop-motion animals of the area. The production did secure permission for these allusions and was even granted the privilege of using the company's signature snowman. Awesome. Now it's time for a quiz. I feel like you guys might know this, but what flavor of Pop-Tarts does Buddy use in his spaghetti? Okay, so stay till the end for another trivia quiz and comment below in the bottom what you think the answers are. So again, the question is, what flavor of Pop-Tarts does Buddy use in his spaghetti? Number 6, Will Ferrell unsurprisingly stopped a lot of traffic. During filming, not only did the lead star stop a lot of traffic as he walked through the Lincoln Tunnel in his costume, but he also reportedly caused a few minor accidents, which doesn't say. Okay, so this one is very true. I've heard it before as well, but Will Ferrell, number 7, you guys might be mad that he did this, but he turned down Elf 2. The actor turned down $29 million for a sequel to smash hit. He told The Guardian, "I killed the idea of a sequel. $29 million does seem a lot of money for a guy to wear tights, but it's what the marketplace will bear. It's not that he's against sequels." Ferrell reprised his role as Ron Burgundy in Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, and Muga 2 in Zoolander 2. Later he said, "I think it just would look slightly pathetic if I tried to squeeze back into the elf tights. Buddy the Middle-Aged Elf." That's what it was going to be called? Buddy the Middle-Aged Elf? I'm curious, what would it be about and stuff. I really like the original Elf. I find sometimes, and you guys could let me know in the comments below, but I find sometimes that when you do make sequels, they're never as good as the first one. You can't make something good twice sometimes. So, is that how the saying goes, I think, right? Just sometimes you don't need a sequel. For example, Paul Blart, the Mall Cop. Yeah, that was the second one was bad. I loved the first one. I couldn't stand the second one. The beginning, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, so I won't talk about it, but it was not good. Number 8, music was added because of Zooey Deschanel. Director Jon Favreau said much of the music in the film was added when he realized what a great singer Zooey Deschanel was. Number 9, they fired Baby Buddy. The little elf was originally going to be played by twin boys, both with blonde curly hair. Sprouse Brothers? Sprouse Brothers? Whatever. Yeah, Sprouse Brothers. There was one issue though, they couldn't perform. The team wanted them to smile and crawl on cue, but they cried all the time. Brunette triplet girls were brought in to replace them. Oh, that's funny. I guess you can't really tell though. Number 10, A Christmas Story cameo. Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie in the classic Christmas movie in 1983, made a cameo as Ming the Elf. He's not credited so you may not spot him, but look out for him next time you watch it. Billingsley has worked with Favreau before and produced several of his TV and film projects. Number 11, we all know this one, but Favreau also cameoed as the Doctor, so he got into action. He was made in the Vince Vaughn and starred in Iron Man. In Elf, he's the Doctor, but that's not the only role he took on. Favreau, he provided the voice of the stop animation characters too, and he also voices the Rabid Raccoon. Oh, I didn't know that one. I knew he was the one that says, "Hey, buddy," and I don't want to say more because I think that might be copyright. So, but the whale that comes out of the water. Number 12, Macy's stood in for Gimbel's toy store. The department store takes up a whole block in Manhattan. In Elf, it was digitally altered to look like Gimbel's. Gimbel's was actually a real department store once upon a time and rival for Macy's. So it's a rival. Sorry, oh my gosh, I read that a little too fast. Gimbel's was actually a real department store once upon a time and a rival for Macy's. Okay, so Macy's must have took over. So Gimbel's is seen here in Miracle on 34th Street, but it closed its doors in 1987 in its 100th year. So it lasted a long time. That's pretty cool. I've been looking for bloopers or deleted scenes of Elf, and I can't seem to find them anywhere. I thought they would be leaked on YouTube by now, but I guess not. Number 13, deleted scenes. We see some of the mess Buddy causes, but there was even more that ended up on the cutting room floor. One scene sees Buddy playing hockey on a frozen pond in a friendly game. Buddy takes to the ice, but things get violent. I do remember seeing that one. Number 14, shooting on location in New York. Most of Elf shot in Canada on stages in Vancouver, except when Buddy comes to New York. Favreau thought it was important to be on location as much as possible. The Manhattan shots, as well as Rockefeller Center, Central Park, and General Park West, are all real locations. And oh my gosh, is that ever a dream for me to go there one day? I've always had the biggest dream to go to New York for Christmas. It has been something that I would love to visit. And the last one, different storylines. Buddy was bullied in early storylines. His motivation for seeking his dad was because he was being bullied by other elves. Favreau wanted this taken out and pushed it for its removal. He said the North Pole elves were better as warm and kind. In the DVD commentary, he said quote, "It explained why Buddy was doing all these good things in New York if he grew up in a world where everybody was so sweet, even when he's obviously screwing everything up and doesn't fit in at all," end quote, which totally makes sense. Okay, I gotta read one more just out of curiosity what this means. So it says, so we'll go do 16. Ferrell even broke Can. So the one that plays his father. The Godfather star plays Walter Hobbs and the father of the guy from Hawaii Five-0. Mostly thanks to his stern persona, Favreau wanted someone who wouldn't break when Ferrell went full elf on them. Can took it seriously, but when it came to the blood test scene, Can couldn't help but laugh. In the film, they captured the moment. If you look, he turns away from the camera as Ferrell is pricked by a needle so he doesn't ruin the take. Oh, that's funny. I gotta go back and watch that one again. Honestly, I haven't watched it in a while. And the last quiz question before I end the evening: where did Buddy's dad work? What place? Not New York, in New York, but where in New York? You guys have a great rest of your day. Comment below the answer you think it is, and we'll chat soon. Happy holidays.